Hey, this is Simeon, and it's time for another joyful journey. Today, we are going to venture into the world of Vertigo. No, not that Vertigo, but the world of Cinematique Vertigo. And that is what we're going to take a look at today is Vertigo glass and iron. So with all of their Vertigo instruments, Cinematique has given us 17 different sound sources, and they're all available at the same time. So let me just pull this up in HALion Sonic. But if you have HALion Sonic, or even the free HALion SonicSE player, you can use this instrument. Let's just see. Let's drop this down. There we go. We have the glass and iron, and we have one preset basically, and we load that in. We go to the edit, and here we have the 17 different sound sources here. And let's just dive in and take a closer look. Starting from left to right, we have rubbed, bowed, struck, and special. And all of these are using like different thicknesses of drinking glasses, singing bowls, gamelans, gendars, and all kinds of different metal and glass. It's really interesting because you get different tones and colors with the different materials that we're using for these. And having all 17 sound sources available allows you to kind of blend and mix them together for even more possibilities. So let's just take a quick look. So the presets are right here. We go and we've got like, I think 14 different presets. And let's just run through a few of these. And this is a good time. We've got a couple of rubbed and bowed. Glass 1 is a thin drinking glass, and glass 2 is a little bit thicker. We have the bowl, metal singing bowl, so you've got the glass and the metal together. So let's just kind of play around with a good time. You just hear how spacious that is. It's really rich. And I think it's the combination of the glass and the metal together. It just gives it just an unusual property. You can see what we have here. We've got an envelope control where we can shape the attack and the release. And then filters. It's like a low pass filter. We can take that. And we can learn this to a CC controller if we want and assign that. And you've got tape saturation. You've got a rotary effect here and reverb. And the way that you hear the sound evolving and moving. And above each level, sound source level, we have a pan, so we can spread these out across the stereo field. And you can see that's what they've done with the glass and the bowl. They've kind of just kind of pushed them over here, and then the glass 2, the thicker glass, is in the center. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Let's go to another preset, rubber toe. Let's check that out. And we've got the filter here. We still got the rubbed going on. Let's just hear what this sounds like. And the gamelan, this struck texture, they're just kind of hitting it randomly just to kind of put some motion in there. And having the envelope control just allows it to kind of fade in. So if we click on this, let's see, we've got the infinite reverb on here. So let's just turn that down. There we go. And you've got the filter engaged here. But let's do this. Let's take this, push this button underneath the envelope control. What this does, it removes the sustain portion so we can have like a more transient type of sound. So we went from this to this just by clicking just one button and taking that sustain part out. And having that struck portion just lets it kind of move a little bit. Now let's change the reverb here so we can do an echo. Now let's try another struck instrument. Let's do let's do this. It's the move. So this is a randomly hit drinking glass. So now let's check that out. It's almost bell-like when we get up here and take the sustain out. Because you hear these sounds and it just kind of takes you on a journey. It takes you on a journey. Now here's the other drinking glass, and that is let's see. Oh, where is it? That yeah. So we're still in the struck here. So this is the other hitting that drinking glass. So it sounds kind of plucked in a way. So that's kind of cool. So let's go ahead and go on to King Kong. Let's see, or King Gong, or whatever we got. Let's change. So we've got a hall reverb here, and these specials down on the end. So we've got like a stretched tuning fork, an auto harp, and so the glass that's sent through some processed modules, and then the glass just resynthesized. So the special just takes the basic sounds and just pushes them into some other processors to give us some crazy sounds. And you can hear like a really crazy dissonance almost. And so that is controlled. I think this is kind of cool because underneath each source level, you have basically a tuning. So you can see this is tuned. The first source is tuned up a ninth. The second source is tuned down 7 semitones, 12 semitones on this next source. Let's see. Yeah, so that's a vibraphone. So this is a bowed vibraphone, a bowed glass, and the bowed bowl, singing bowl, and the gamelans. But you can see that the vibraphone and the bowl are pitched up an octave for the vibraphone and pitched down an entire octave for the bowl. So let's just see. We can click this and solo these. So I'm going to solo the vibraphone and the bowl. Okay, yeah. Let me see. So you can't solo. Yeah, well, I thought you could. I thought you could solo more than one, but and it's having these abilities to tune these by semitones. It almost acts like a drawbar effect on like the Hammond organ. If you can wrap your head around that principle that these harmonics, when they're tuned up ninths and different intervals, they introduce different harmonics that really create a more complex sound. So let's go back and take another listen. And what I'm going to do, let's just let's turn these other sections down a little bit. And that's what's interesting about having all the sound sources available at one time. You can just freely experiment and mix those. So I'm just going to go with the vibraphone and the bowl. And they're tuned octaves apart. And in and of themselves, they've got complex harmonics. And then when you combine them together, now let's turn the glass on. And I'm going to tune this up a fifth. And listen to what happens. It just creates a totally different set of harmonics. It just makes it more complex. Isn't that wild? And then we can see down here in the special, in this preset especially, we've got it, the auto harp tuned up a seventh. So you can experiment with those and play around with different numbers and different intervals, and you will be surprised at what you can come up with. Let's just check out a couple more of these. Frozen glass, well, gentle snow, that sounds good, especially when the temperature's in the 90s, like it's been over the past few weeks. Now listen to that. And we've got that infinite reverb going on again. It just goes on and on and on. It's just amazing. It's just so beautiful when you combine these different sources together. And then with that infinite reverb on, all of the tones are overlapping and just kind of interwoven together. Very cool. Now I'm just going to turn the reverb to another source. Let's go to, okay, you've got different rooms. You've got rooms, chambers. Let's put it in a chamber. And turn the rotary. We're going to turn the rotary effect on a little bit. That gets it just kind of put into like one of those Leslie speakers. And so it's just swirl. It starts that swirling. Let's go all the way. So it just throws it around. And then plus we've got the vibraphone and the bowed bowl. The bowed bowl, the bowed bowl. Say that fast. And they're kind of panned that way, spread out. Really cool. And then you've got the tape saturation. One of the neat things they've given us is they've given us a dice. They've given us like a randomizer. And you'd be surprised at happy accidents that come along. So when you click that dice, it will just kind of randomize things and give you something totally fresh. So let's roll the dice a couple of times and see what happens. Boom, there we go. And let's just hit it a couple of times and just not think about it. And then we'll just say stop. Okay, now look at this. So it randomizes the panning, all of the parameters here. And let's see. Oh, okay, so you can see what it's done with the tuning. Yeah, it's like it's just got it all over the place. So just holding one note. And let's take out the sustain the sustain part. And with them detuned like that, it creates something that's a little more atonal. That's crazy. That's crazy. Let's hit it again. Let's hit the dice again. I'm just going to hit it and then we'll just say stop. There we go. And again, all of these, the intervals are just like all over the place. So you can get something a little wild. And the struck, you hear the struck, it just kind of gives that motion in there. And then you can always go in and save these as a preset and just create your own presets out of these things that you've customized. So let's go back to Frozen Glass. Let's see, let's check this out. Again, a little atonal. And let's see. Metro Star. Just a little struck with the bowed. That's really pretty. So what I would like to show you now, I want to show you how really easy this is to layer with some of the other instruments in HALion. And the great thing about this Vertigo series is that everything is just like right here, right in front of you, and you can just kind of mix and match these tones, and it's just really a beautiful source. So let's go back out. Now you've noticed that I'm switching back and forth between the performance view and the editor view. And so what that does, it just allows you to have a more compact view, which I think is really neat. And then, so you can see here that I've got two other instruments loaded, and I'm going to go back to the Good Time preset. It just, to me, this sounds just so nice and rich. And then what I've done, I went ahead and loaded the studio strings. I've loaded the studio strings here. And I think studio strings are really beautiful, especially the Shadowlands patch. That's what I've got loaded here. And let's see, let me, I think I've been messing around with this a little bit. So I've got mono here, and we've got the legato, and let's just play around with this. And the modulation kind of That's what's so neat about HALion Sonic and the whole HALion family, is that they've given you so many other instruments in the package that sounds so good. So now I've got the glass and iron and the strings layered. Now let's see. And I've got the hall here. And it's just experimenting. But when you add the hybridness of strings and then you add the bowed glass and iron together, it just creates another instrument. So I thought just for fun, we would go and add even another instrument. And they, Sample Tech and Steinberg has just released the 4-knob rain piano. And the rain piano is really a nice instrument. Let's just mute that and I've got it pulled up on the Cloud 9 preset. Now watch what happens when we layer the glass and iron, and let's go into the mix. And again, when you combine things, you combine textures and sounds, you just open up more possibilities. Let's try another preset here, like the gentle snow. Ooh, that sounds cool. Now listen to that. Now let's just blend this together a little bit more. And that infinite reverb just keeps things just rolling along. Now let's just pull in the strings now, and let's bring the volume of the strings down just a little bit. So you've got all of this stuff stacked together. And that mod wheel will kind of help blend the strings in. And you hear what each part is doing. Isn't it wild? Well, I hope you enjoyed this little joyful journey, this little trip into Vertigo, glass and iron. And make sure you check out all the links in the description. There's so much to the HALion platform, HALion Sonic and HALion SonicSE. And it's so exciting to see more and more magnificent instruments coming into this ecosystem. So until next time, this is Simeon, and I want you to stay joyful, stay joyful.